All right, all right, all right. Welcome back to another episode of Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes farming guide from your boy Itachi and Itachi Gaming. I'm Itachi, by the way, and thank you again for stopping by. I'd like to thank all my subscribers that have already subscribed. We've hit right over a little bit 20 subscribers, so we're starting to grow. We just started the channel in December, towards the end of December, so thank you all so much. I greatly appreciate it. So let's get it started. So right now you should be hovering right around probably the early to mid 70s on your account as far as your level is concerned, which means your Phoenix Squad should be right around the same, especially if you've been following the farming tips and tricks. But your Phoenix Squad should definitely be at 7 stars. Now, they're not going to be to where my Phoenix Squad is. You should have the top ability maxed out at this point if you've been following the guide specifically, which I will click a link up below, a clickable link, so you can go see that video on the Phoenix Squad. But their top abilities should all be maxed out on Ezra, Zeb, Hera, which I do not have. We'll do that a little later. Kanan, Jarrus, and Chopper. Remember, the whole point of me making this video is so that you don't make the same mistakes that I did. And your Sabine should be right around 6 stars, ready to go to 7 stars, not looking as sad as mine does. All your characters, except for Sabine, should be at gear level 8. And Sabine should be at gear level 7 at this point. Now, we're going to talk about our very next team that we're going to be farming, and it's going to get you ready for another legendary event, and that is going to be the Empire. So let me go to my Empire here. The reason I showed the Phoenix Squadron at the beginning is because they're going to be very critical for 2 of these characters out of here, right? So you're at 7 stars, you're at around gear 8. Gear 8 is what's required. That's all you should really need for these 2 events to get 7-star Emperor Palpatine. Okay, 7-star Emperor Palpatine and 7-star Grand Admiral Thrawn. Now, you may have already done one of these events, seeing how it takes about 3 to 4 months to farm and gear characters to 7 stars and around gear 8. So you may have already participated in at least one of the events, maybe possibly even both, and unlocked Emperor Palpatine and Grand Admiral Thrawn at 5 stars, possibly 6 like I did when I actually first started out this game. So that is very possible that you may already have them, but you need to be ready for that 7-star event. Okay, so these guys are going to be needed for R2-D2, which is needed for CLS, and CLS is a 7-star character only. He only unlocks at 7 stars, not at 5 stars, because he is a Hero's Journey event, legendary event, as opposed to a normal legendary event. So Palpatine, you're going to be using Grand Admiral Thrawn. Darth Vader, you're going to get through your quests, and if you're going through and finishing those quests, you'll unlock Darth Vader at 7 stars very easily. He also shows up in the ship, the fleet store, where you can farm him as well from time to time. Now, Grand Moff Tarkin and TIE Fighter Pilot. These 5 should really be the next team to really farm. They're going to be your first arena team. They're very fast. They have a lot of turn meter, and they're going to be able to blow past all the rebel teams and some of the nonsense you're going to see in your squad arenas at this time. So if you're watching this is definitely going to give you a huge advantage over your arena shard, because you're going to be kind of ahead of the game. Also, I would say Emperor Palpatine, by far his leadership, once you get to this point, should be the first Zeta ability mat that you give on any character in the game by far. Okay, so let's talk about these guys just a little bit. So Emperor Palpatine, he's going to be able to, he has a basic, 2 specials, a leadership, and a unique, 1 unique. All right, his basic is going to be lightning strike, and this is very powerful. You deal special damage to target enemy and shock them for 3 turns. He's one of 3 characters currently in the game that can deal shock. Then Palpatine gains 15% turn meter for each shocked enemy, so you can make Palpatine very fast in his turn meter with this ability shock. And what does shock do? They can't gain health, buffs, or bonus turn meter. So that is huge. You're taking down bonus turn meter. You're taking away any health gain and any buffs. So that means taunts, any of those things, advantage, all that stuff you get to prevent with if you get to land a shock on a character. Now, his first special is Power of the Dark Side, and the final text reads, deal special damage to all enemies with a 70% chance to stun them for 1 turn. Shocked enemies are stunned for 2 turns and have their shock dispelled. All allies gain offense up for 2 turns. So, with this one, you can put teams into a stun lock, just depending on your overall, and when you get into the end game, your overall teams that you're gonna create with these characters. But still, another great ability. It's an AOE, so area of effect. And as you continue to work on this particular character and this ability, you're going to be able to land stuns on the entire team at some point. Sometimes it's 4 out of 5 characters, but that's still really good. And you're just taking them out of the game. This is just going to be a controlling type character, definitely used in the leadership spot early in the game. Now, his next special is called Let the Hate Flow, and this is one of my favorites because it helps with survivability for this team a lot. So his final text reads, all other units lose 5% health, and Palpatine recovers health equal to 150% of total amount lost, and then Palpatine gains 50% turn meter for each shocked enemy. All allies gain health steal up for 1 turn. Then we have his leadership. Emperor of the Galactic Empire. Empire and Sith allies have 35% potency and 35% max health. Jedi and Rebel enemies, which you're going to see a lot of during this time, have minus 35% potency and minus 35% evasion, which is huge because Jedi and Rebels like both of those things. When an Empire ally inflicts a debuff during their turn, they gain 20% turn meter. When a Sith ally inflicts a debuff during their turn, they recover 20% health. When a debuff on an enemy expires, Empire and Sith allies gain 5% turn meter. So that's huge because this whole team is based off of debuffs, slowing down the team as much as possible. All right, and then his last ability, which is going to be a unique, is going to be called Crackling Doom, and the final text reads, while Palpatine is active at the start of each enemy turn, they take damage equal to 20% of their max health for each of the following. If they are shocked, if they are a Jedi, if they are a Rebel, this damage can't defeat enemies. Palpatine has plus 50% max protection, and when he inflicts shock, he gains 5% max protection until the end of the encounter. So, great character, great leadership ability, and is going to be your absolute first team here, real team for Squad Arena, your real competitive team, okay? Grand Admiral Thrawn is another control beast, 1 basic, 2 specials, a leadership ability, and a unique, and as you can see, I don't have his leadership Zeta. I will end up doing that later on in the game. I don't feel like it's necessary. Now, he's going to have the Empire tag. He's also very important for your fleets, for ships, because he is a fleet commander. But he's going to manipulate characters, deal special damage to target enemy, grant them speed up for 1 turn, or if they already had ability blocked, inflict stun for 1 turn instead. Then the speed up when this speed up expires, inflict ability block for 1 turn. These effects can't be resisted. Against raid bosses, he deals special damage to target enemy and inflicts defense down for 2 turns, which can't be resisted. Fracture. This is by far the most powerful ability in the game. It's his first special ability, and this literally makes him a very, very big plug-and-play character in so many teams. It's ridiculous, but he gets to deal special damage to target enemy 4 times, dispel all buffs on them, remove 50% turn meter, and inflict fracture until the start of Thrawn's next turn, or until Thrawn is defeated. This fracture can't be copied or dispelled. This attack can't be evaded or resisted. Fracture on characters. Speed set to 0. Can't gain buffs, bonus attacks, or bonus turn meter. Fracture on raid bosses takes away 50% speed, doesn't stack with speed down, and can't gain buffs and minus 30% counter chance. So it's a very, very big ability, and it's great. It's great. This is why Thrawn is used in so many teams, is because of this fracture ability. It really just locks down, that one character that's on that other team that you're worried about the most. You're like, I can deal with these other 4 characters, but this one character I don't want to really play against. Fracture is going to take that character out of the game, and they're not going to be able to do very much. Grand Admiral's Command. This allows them to swap turn meter with another ally, and it dispels all debuffs on Thrawn and that ally, and it also helps recover 40% protection. His leadership is called Legendary Strategist. Empire allies have plus 15% max protection, plus 25% offense, and gain 20% turn meter whenever they resist a detrimental effect or suffer a debuff. Whenever an Empire ally gains or loses a status effect, they recover 2% protection. Empire allies gain a new special ability called Maneuver, which allows them to dispel all debuffs on this character and gain 50% turn meter with a cooldown of 3. So it's also a great leadership ability. As you get into the end game, Thrawn is going to move out of the Emperor Palpatine team, and you're going to get into more so a Sith team with Emperor Palpatine, and possibly with some other leadership abilities from other characters instead of having Emperor Palpatine in the leadership slot. So Ebb and Flow, which also have Zetaed on this character. So Thrawn has 100% plus 100% counter chance. That's big. Plus 100% tenacity, also big, and minus 50% speed while any enemies are fractured. Whenever another Empire ally uses a special ability while Thrawn is active, that ally gains 15% turn meter. That's big. And if any enemies are fractured, Thrawn and fractured enemies lose 15% turn meter. So this is going to allow him to keep that enemy that you're afraid of and you don't want to really face fractured longer, because that fracture goes away once Thrawn hits his next turn. All right, so we're going to go to our next character, which is Darth Vader. Now, he's going to have 2 tags, Sith and Empire, which is going to really gel really well with Emperor Palpatine because of Emperor Palpatine's leadership abilities. It's going to get 2 bonuses because he is Sith and Empire, so he gets to take full advantage of both of those, the turn meter and the health gain. All right, so he's going to have also 1 basic, 2 specials, 1 leadership, and a unique ability. Terrifying Swing deals physical damage to target enemy with an 80% chance to inflict ability block for 1 turn. Jedi and Rebel targets cannot evade or resist the effects of this attack. I bet you're going to love this attack, especially early on. I guarantee it, and how Darth Vader works. Deal physical damage to all enemies and inflict speed down and 3 damage over time effects, or dots, for 2 turns. This attack can't be countered. Again, these are final text. That is huge too. Damage over time is such a rough thing to deal with and on any team. Now, Inspiring Through Fear I haven't really worked on. I will eventually for in-game purposes, because he is used for leadership in the Heroic Pit raid. So Empire and Sith allies have plus 30% offense and have a 50% chance to remove 20% turn meter when they damage an enemy. This turn meter removal can't be resisted. While Darth Vader is alive, enemies immediately regain damage over time for 2 turns whenever damage over time expires on them. So just constantly just putting damage over time on those characters. Now, No Escape, which is also Zeta, so the leadership ability and the unique are Zetas, which I haven't dated him yet. We're on our way to another one. At the start of each encounter, Darth Vader gains 8 speed until the end of that encounter for each of the following: Empire ally, Sith ally, Jedi enemy, Rebel enemy. Darth Vader is immune to turn meter reduction and recovers 5% health when a damage over time effect on an enemy expires. If you're starting to kind of get a good idea, this team is going to be spamming debuffs and really controlling your opponent. All right. Grand Moff Tarkin. Also a fleet commander, one of the first fleet commanders you're going to get in the game. A very good fleet commander. His capital ship is probably second to Grand Admiral Thrawn. So, great he has an Empire tag. So Grand Moff's attack, final text, deal physical damage to one target. This attack deals 10% more damage for each living ally. Tarkin gains 50% potency, stacking until the next time ultimate firepower is used. So potency is going to be really big for him. So let's keep going. Ultimate firepower. Deal special damage to all enemies with a 100% chance to remove 50% of their turn meter. This attack gains offense equal to double Tarkin's potency percentage. So potency is going to be huge for him when you're talking about mods. Intimidation tactics. Gain potency up for 3 turns, then inflict critical chance down and offense down for 3 turns on all enemies. Rebel enemies can't resist these debuffs. Then gain 15% turn meter for each debuffed enemy. Tighten the grip, which I haven't worked on as you can see, but we're going to speed up to this. Empire allies gain 30 speed. Inflict defense down and expose for 2 turns on enemies that fall below 100% during Empire allies' turn. This effect can't be resisted. Again, that's going to be something I work on much later in the game when I'm in endgame because, one, it is a Zeta ability, and I'm not going to waste those materials on him right now because I'm not using him in a leadership position outside of fleets. So, moving on to Callous Conviction. This is also a Zeta on him. Grand Moff Tarkin gains defense equal to his potency percentage and 20% potency per debuffed enemy. So he's going to be spamming more debuffs on this team. He's going to be able to remove turn meter, and really, again, we're back to controlling the team, controlling your opponent's team, and really maximizing turn meter with this team. Okay, TIE Fighter Pilot. Ooh, I can upgrade this, but I'm not going to because I'm saving up for a Zeta. Maybe. We'll see. But final text. Deal physical damage to target enemy and deal 35% more damage for each enemy suffering a debuff. Inflict tenacity down for 2 turns on a critical hit. All right. So that's just going to be able to inflict more debuffs, right? Inflicting tenacity down is going to be really important against Jedi and Bastila leads when he gets a critical hit. So that's great. All right, TIE Strike. I like this ability a lot. Deal physical damage to all enemies with a 80% chance to inflict buff immunity for 2 turns. Inflict ability block on the primary target for 1 turn. So whoever you have selected, you're going to do an ability block on them, and then you're going to do a buff immunity on all the other characters, which, again, is very important. You get to take care of taunters and things like that and really prevent them from being able to become a nuisance to you. All right, this last one is Evasive Maneuvers. At the end of each of his turns, for each debuffed enemy, TIE Fighter Pilot gains 10% turn meter and has a 35% chance to excuse me, to gain foresight for 1 turn. So again, turn meter gain again, and this is just going to be fueled here by Emperor Palpatine's leadership. Emperor of the Galactic Empire. All those Empire, they're all Empire, have the Empire tag, so they get 35% potency and 35% health. 35% potency and 35% max health, excuse me. And then when they inflict a debuff, which this entire team does, when it's an Empire ally, which all of them are, they are going to gain 20% turn meter. Okay, when a Sith ally, which that is referring to Darth Vader only, inflicts a debuff during their turn, they recover 20% health. And then when a debuff expires on an enemy, Empire and Sith allies gain 5% turn meter. So they're just constantly getting turn meter, 20%, right? Plus being able to get an additional 5%, plus their own turn meter that they already generate in their own abilities. So this team is going to be very, very quick. Don't worry too much about the overall power of this team when going against other teams, because they can take out teams that are higher than them, let's say Jedi teams and Bastila teams, although Bastila can be very, very hard for this team. But going up against those pesky Phoenix teams, which you're probably tired of using and doing those mirror matches now. Now you get to mix it up. Now I will say that you want to be able to level these guys up to whatever your current level is, get some mods on them, get their abilities going, because again, all these are final texts. So it's going to take you a while to get to that particular part, but they're still going to be extremely good as you're leveling those abilities. Now, obviously, where do you get these guys? Well, these three are all going to be done by either events or quests, right? Darth Vader you can only get through quests. You can find him in the Fleet Arena store. Grand Admiral Thrawn and Emperor Palpatine are both legendary events, which is why it was so important for you to farm Phoenix Squad first, because they're used for Emperor Palpatine and Grand Admiral Thrawn. Grand Moff Tarkin you're going to find over in the Squad Arena store, okay? So, once you're done farming Kanan out of this store, you're going to go straight to Grand Moff Tarkin and work on getting him to 7 stars. Now, TIE Fighter Pilot, you're going to find on Cantina Battles 4B. He'll show up in Guild Event Store and some other places, but you should only farm him through Cantina Battles 4B once you're finished with getting Hera and oh my goodness, Hera and Ezra out of the cantina, right? And those you're going to go back and forth. Remember, we're going to go Hera, unlock, Ezra, unlock, Hera, unlock, Ezra, unlock, and you go back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth until you get them all the way up to 7 stars. But then you're just going to focus in on TIE Fighter Pilot. Now, he's going to get to 7 stars a lot quicker than your Ezra and your Hera were. Now, there are some other characters that I will say you can go ahead and work on just in case for whatever reason you don't get Darth Vader to 7 stars, so that you can participate in specifically the R2-D2 event, legendary event. Colonel Stark, if you get in a good guild early, he can only be found in one place and he always shows up there, and that's the guild store. Obviously, you can buy him through packs, but we're trying to be free to play here. So you start on that early, and the earlier you can get into a guild, the better. General Veers, you can farm almost immediately. He's in one of the easier hard side nodes, and he's a light side. So as you're farming Sabine, you're going to be farming General Veers right side along her during your refreshes. So you'll farm Sabine, go farm General Veers. That will take care of both your light side and dark side battles, as well as your hard node battles, all in that one and those two right there. So you should be getting him around 7 stars the same time you get Sabine around 7 stars approximately. Okay. And then the other character that you can use finally is going to be Range Trooper. He can also be found in dark side battles, so once you're done with Sabine at 3A, and can be used almost immediately, or if you're out of refreshes for Sabine, you can start using and you need to do some farming, you go ahead and farm Range Trooper. All right, that's all I have for you today. If you like this video, please don't forget to like it. If you haven't subscribed already, hit that subscribe button. Don't forget to hit the bell. And if you could, leave a comment below. Let me know what you think about the video. Sorry about all the in and outs. My throat is getting extremely dry. It's been pretty cold here where I'm at. But thank you for stopping by. And until next time.